Grand Rising, still. Why someone need to be dumb, wrong, stupid. Bit of arc. True Brit news, absolutely. And again, this is making this recording with the express intention of posting this one. I have at least 15 different posts, recordings to post yet, and I haven't got round to it. And I mentioned in some of those posts what do I mention in some of those posts? I mention the fact that I haven't put up any videos in a while because so much has been going on in the world. Okay, just to give a bit of background to this particular post and the topic that I'm going, it's not even a topic, it's an observation that has raised a whole heap of further questions, and but they're also interconnected and interrelated to the other posts that I haven't put out yet, recordings that I haven't put out yet, and everything that I have put out in the past. Everything. Okay. Just to say, as part of the preamble, that recently I managed to get TikTok on my phone. I don't know how this happened, but I've got it anyway, and I think I might have clicked on something from a WhatsApp group, and then somehow to watch it I've got it. Anyway, there's this trend that's popped up for me, I'm going to say on Friday just gone, so it's Sunday now, and the trend that is blowing up, it's gingers are black, right? And I trust that's the last time I'm going to use that word to describe a group of people with red hair and very, very pale skin. But it's not just about them, actually. It's about some melanated people. As an example, in Jamaica, there's a reggae artist by the name of Yellowman. Okay, so we've got people within our community, and throughout all communities, and throughout all cultures, and throughout all races, where there are these red-headed people, you know, with freckles, and usually quite thick, bright red, orange, variations on those colours hair. Quickly. So, what does that mean? Right, what's going on here? And it was originally posted by what's described as a Vedung priestess, black woman, a so-called black woman, Vedung priestess, who made the claim. She provided evidence for it, historically, scientifically. I mean, and in many ways, it's not that unusual or that. Whoops. Or that information is not unknown within, well, not to me anyway. I've known about the genes that are connected to the production of hair colour, which is melanin. and the production of the red hair and the freckles, if you like, is a part of a recessive gene that's trying to bust through, trying to come true in melanated people, in some white-skinned people. Because again, just to say that the characteristics of what is now been described on this TikTok feed, or this trend on TikTok, as red velvet, amongst other terms, anyway, so that's the trend. What's that got to do with anything? Well, I was initially intrigued by the supporting evidence that was being put out there to support the claim that was originally made. And what I've been seeing since is the experience. I've been hearing and listening to the experience of of my red-headed cousins. Yeah. So that's one of the impacts of this trend. One of the impacts of this trend for the people that it's specifically about is their experiences of what I would consider to be their own people. And what the fuck is wrong with you? With what I've been describing as wasps. What is it? I zoomed in on myself. That you would do that. But it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of... So it's not just about skin or hair colour in this instance. It's about an experience that has moved a lot of so-called black people to invite, if you will, and to acknowledge the newly named red velvet redhead community into the family of black people. There's been an overwhelming response. Yes, there are some that say, no, I'm not having it, don't trust it. And in some ways, I'm one of them. I'm going, okay, yeah. Okay. But I get it. Might disagree with it, but I get it. And I don't disagree with it because the science is undeniable, unmistakable, and unequivocal. So it's not me, I'm doing this. But the treatment, they talk about kick a red head. This is based upon South Park, and I've watched South Park a lot, and I do remember what Cartman had done in the name of humour, I suppose. And it was funny, but there's Cartman, I think it's Kyle, who's got red hair, and the idea of them having no souls, I thought was just a joke, but it's a lived experience for a lot of red-haired people, being considered to have no souls, to be considered as sexually voracious, bad-tempered, got an attitude, somehow deficient, less than. And that's the bit that I get. What I don't get is you could treat your own like that and then start screw facing when that African, Caribbean, black communities, particularly in the States, and also in the UK, but also across Europe apparently, are saying, cool, we get it, yeah, you can come around for dinner anytime, we got your back kind of thing, we get you, and as long as you don't do stupid shit, it's all good. It's all good. Now, the response from the red-headed community to that invitation is incredible for me. Again, it could be fake, could be another psyop, another something, I don't know. But it looked genuine to me. I won't take it on face value, I'm going to take it on the experience. And I do have, and it's made me, I've had red-headed experiences with red-headed people across the course of my life, and it's made me wonder. I think my first ever girlfriend at junior school was a redhead. I believe, as I recall, Isabel K was her name. But before that, I think I remember, not far from where I lived, there was a family called the Gingas. And I think there was a family of them. Well, there was a family of them. But the children were redheads. And the oldest one, I can't remember, I think it might have been Gary Ginga, I'm not so sure. Tall. But I know he was getting shit. I was only about 5, 6. And seeing this family around about the place. And they always seemed to be getting shit. And there was another girl at junior school again, I think. I think it's Josephine Boswell. Redhead. Getting shit. Severe. Harsh. Lyrics, words. Things like Fleabag. There were rhymes. Yes, bless, you're right. Things like ginger nut fell in a cup, frightened all the fishes. One came up, gobbled her up. That's then the ginger nut. And from what I'm hearing, there's far worse stuff out there that's been created. And the vilification, and I suppose you have to describe it as a bit of hatred towards red-headed people. And that phrase, red-headed stepchild, which I used to hear, didn't know what it meant. But it was a kind of like a thing between redheads, white redheads, and white people, or white people without red hair. That there was some shit going on between the two, and it wasn't very nice. Lots of suicidal ideation involved in it, put it that way. So, what's that got to do with anything? The Vedung priestess was talking about the connection that the red-haired princess is believed to be Pocahontas also, right? But she's also related to Scotia, who was a daughter of Isis. She's the only, and I think Brigitte somebody, that's still celebrated in Scotland today. She's still celebrated and still revered, the red-headed princess. The Vikings, whilst they had red hair, not all of them had pale skin or white skin. Some of them did, but not all of them did. Some of them had black skin. See, that's where the issue is, you see. So the idea of there being black Vikings is not an anathema when you look at DNA, genetics, bloodlines, and history. It all supports it. So, and that's where the connection is with this trend that's taking place, and say Indigenous and Aboriginal people. UNDRIP rather, United Declarations of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. How there's a connection with this trend, and that because these people, these red-headed, red velvet individuals are beginning to remember and starting to do their genes, and all their black relatives are popping out of the woodwork. Not for all of them, but for some of them. And why it is that as younger people, as children, they had a resonance and an affinity with and weren't brutalized by so-called black people. That's not their experience. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but the ones that I'm listening to, have been listening to, are saying that's the only people that were bullying them were people that had told them that you are us, but telling that we're the same, i.e. white people, but actually treating them as though they were black people. It's been terrible. Go and do your research. You go on TikTok, they'll fucking tell you. But it also explains in many ways how redheads I suppose had to be silent in some respects and didn't feel part of the community that had claimed them. And now that, if you like, black communities all over the shop are claiming redheads and saying, yeah, cool, we get you, you're in, we've got your back. I think before the sentence was finished, they'd packed their bags. Not all of them. They've packed their bags, made the commitment, they're done with this shit. They've never felt levels of quote-unquote love and acceptance and appreciation for who they are from anyone, any other community apart from the so-called black community, which I find weird. Well, not surprising on the part of that was a black woman that sort of brought it out. The goddesses of empathy and understanding. He who knows it, who feels it knows it, kind of thing. So yeah, and yeah, long may the trend continue as far as I'm concerned, but it seems to have taken a bit of a dip because, again, just like what I believe the executive orders and the tariffs are, what I believe that they are doing is that they are exposing the infiltrators, the disruptors, the people that perform a Hegelian dialectic to cause division and chaos and mayhem, to keep communities and people separated based upon today, or this week. Apparently it started off at the beginning of the month. It's June now, so, but the beginning of May, by saying that redheads are black people. People with copper-coloured hair, orange hair, black people. People with freckles, can't stand out being in the sun, burn easily, black people. I mean, I could go on and talk about the recessive gene that is in most other races, which is it's a recessive gene from the genes of my ancestors and myself. And I kind of get that phrase, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Absolutely. Totally get it. Totally get it. The red vevel people get it. They really do get it. Get it in a different way, but they get it. Because they've been amongst white people, believing that they are white people, and white people don't like them, and they've had to sit and hold it, you know, and been brutalised. Some of them have ended their lives over this, have attempted to end their lives. It's created a great deal of trauma, wrecked self-esteem, self-concept. So yeah, it's a kind of I don't know. It's beyond me. It's astonished me. Anyway, but I can see the connections with, that's right, these tariffs, whereby, you know, and how it shows up those people who are for change, for a cessation to conflicts of all kinds, a cessation to Gaza, to Ukraine, and it identifies who the warmongers are. In humanity, really, because it's not just about the ruling elites. It comes all the way down, because people are following these ideologies in various ways, very subtle ways, and some of them not so subtle, as it turns out. And again, it's not to be talked about, you know, and I can see that what I've been describing as the WASP, the white Anglo-Saxon, either Protestant, ponce, psychopath, predator, parasite, how they are the ones, and just to say, I use the word white, but in legal terms, white doesn't necessarily mean white. It actually offers a privileged position. I know immigrants that are class themselves as white British. Yeah, it's on their passports and all sorts, because it enables you to, under that status, to receive all the services that the society or that the corporation has to offer, because it's their creation. And that's why back in the day you saw no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, because they weren't classified as white. Definitely the dogs weren't, but dogs received better treatment. But the blacks and Irish were not considered as white people. The Irish weren't considered as white, and I think it's because of the melanin content that they have in them. I suppose it's a bit obvious, you know, and they are a reminder of not only who they are, actually the red-headed people, red-headed Irish people, and who the Irish people were per se, but it also reminds them of the shit that they've had to do, what they've been doing to the blacks, the Irish, and dogs. Seems to me what you've been doing with your dogs is f***ing them. You're wrong, man. Yeah, in the same way the redheads and the black people all over the globe. You've hunted them down. You've hunted them down, killed them. You used to, what did you used to do to redheads? The bobbing of the apple bobbing, I think it's called, that's connected to redheads. And you throw them in the river, put the apples in the river, chuck them in the river, they were considered witches. And if they're able to get the apple, tie their hands behind the back, chuck them in the river with the apples off, you get one of them, if you sink to the bottom, that means you were wrong. And if you float to the top and got the apple, they kill you anyway, because it proved you was a witch. That's a sick mentality. So, yeah. And that sick mentality, if you like, can be seen in what's going on in Gaza at the moment, and how long it's taken the wasps to realise actually it's not okay behaviour. It's taken nearly 80, 90 years for you to clock it. You know what I mean? And it's not until, again, the Irish called out and the South Africans called out Netanyahu, filed a petition and got everybody else to sign the petition to get them to the International Court of Justice. Yeah, there's no UK, there's no English people jumping up and down for this. I know, you know, there are some people that are, you know, pro-Palestinian and don't like what's going on and are protesting against it. But really and truly, not that many really, considering. And there is no vested interest, it seems, in those or for those people to do anything, to make any changes. And it's only, I think it's through the tariffs that's forcing the change. Money. That's the only thing that will change these people's minds, is money. So I'm really noticing there's a woman here who might sort of think, I don't know if she's a redhead actually. Or she's dyed it. I think she maybe died. Because that's the other thing that's happening. There are lots of people that are faking, have been faking, which seems to suggest that they knew all along. If people are dyeing their hair red, they know. And always known. But they, you know, pick and choose. I call it the Ali G syndrome. You can turn it, you know, turn it off and off, or the Zanussi. It's very on and offable. People can change identities very easily to get what it is that they want. But you know who's posing as, feigning, faking being a redhead, and those who aren't. And I think that's what it also exposes, the way that people have been faking and fawning, and feigning, faking, fawning and feigning who they really are, to hide who they really are, and to hide the nasty things, evil things, the wicked things that they do under the guise of whatever you want to call it, democracy. It's all about conflict, wars and killing people for profit. Well, anyway, till the next time, your ERP, I'm determined to post this one because I think it's quite important. You can go follow the trends, because it's going to say, it poses lots of different questions, a lot of which I've not managed to get around to, that are about, you know, what is that relationship all about? At least, you know, between redheads, redheaded white people and white people. Till the next time, may your ERP and your spirituality remain strong. Welcome to the fam.